Add new suppliers. In Add Suppliers, we will add our suppliers. Suppliers means buyers, those buyers from where we will purchase the products items. Here for your guidance, we will define one supplier so that you can get idea how you will define your suppliers in this definition. In this definition, we have three main tabs. First is basic information tab, second is detailed information tab, and the third one is all suppliers tab. Third, all suppliers tab is only the searching tab. Here we can search the added suppliers and details of those suppliers. Suppliers details we will fill in first two basic tabs. First of all, we will fill the basic information tab. In this tab, first field is serial number field. Serial number field is automatic field, you don't need to add here anything. Next is account ID field. Account ID field is also automatic field, you don't need to add here anything. Software automatically generate the valid account ID for each supplier. Next is status field. In status field we have two radio buttons. First is active and the second is not active. Active button functionality is to to show the suppliers in our ongoing suppliers working. Not active button functionality is to hide the suppliers in our ongoing supplier workings. Later during working, you can discontinue any supplier if you don't want to continue working with that supplier. Usually for each supplier we will choose active button, but only later in workings if we want to discontinue working with any supplier, then we can discontinue that supplier with the help of not active button, because once added the supplier you can't delete that supplier, you can only make discontinue that supplier. Next is date field. In date field, software automatically pick the current date. Next is name field. In name field, we will write the supplier name. Suppose my supplier name is Next is address field. In address field, we will write the supplier address. Next is contact number field. In contact number field, we will add the contact number of the supplier. Next is WhatsApp number field. In this field, we will add the supplier WhatsApp number. Next is opening balance field. In opening balance field, we will add the opening balance for the supplier. Opening balance field is optional field. You can also skip it if the suppliers don't have any opening balance. In front of opening balance, we have two radio buttons. First is Get and the second is Tap It. These radio buttons will help us to identify the nature of the opening balance. Suppose for the opening balance amount, if the amount is receivable from the supplier, then we will choose the credit button. And if the amount is payable to supplier, then we will choose the credit button. If the amount is receivable from the supplier, then we will choose the debit button. Means if amount is receivable, then we will choose debit button. If opening balance amount is payable, then we will choose credit button. Next tab is detail information tab. In detail information tab, we will fill the additional details for the same supplier. First field is contact person. Here we will add the contact person for the same supplier. Next is city area. Here we will write the city area of the same supplier. Next is email address field. In this field we will add email address. Next is CNIC field. In CNIC field we will write CNIC for the same supplier. Next is phone number field. We will add here phone number of the supplier. Next is NTN number. In NTN number, if supplier have NTN number, then you can fill it, otherwise you can skip it. These are the optional fields. Next is city. In city field we will add the city of the supplier. Next is fax number field. In fax number field we will add the fax number of the supplier. Next is country field. In this field we will add the country name of the supplier. After filling the details, now we will save this tabulation with the help of save button and can use the shortkey F10 as well.